updated photos of their Batman and Bruce Wayne. And I gotta say, it's finally gotten my attention, and we need to talk about this. What's going on, everyone? Mr. Mom Collectibles. I am back for another little quick video. Today, I want to switch it up and do something a little bit different. I know I usually my information is usually more heavily focused on hot toys and things like that, but I really want to expand and kind of neutral and cover a lot of other six scale areas. And one of them is definitely going to be in art. And I'm going to be very honest. I'm very critical of InArt. It's a newer company, and I'm one of those people that are on more of like the heavier critique side of them. However, I will admit I never faulted that their quality, their product is just it is pretty amazing to see. Obviously, getting in hand, just like Hot Toys, I question once getting in hand versus what you see in photos. However, I really can't stray away from this one. And this is their update. This is on their InArt Facebook page. I will post the link in the description of this video. Um, but they made some updates to the Batman and Bruce Wayne 1/6 scale collectible figures. It's a production update notice. So I just want to kind of read this little blurb here and then just go through. There's only like 4 or 5 photos. We'll go through the photos. I just want to give you my thoughts about the figures. I never really commented on this publicly. So I just want to give you my idea about it and where my head's at with this. So it's basically saying we want to express our heartfelt gratitude for your unwavering, if I could talk, support and love for InArt. Your passion for our collectible figures continues to inspire us. We understand that many of you have been eagerly anticipating updates on the Batman and Bruce Wayne 1/6 scale collectible figures, and we are thrilled to share the latest production progress. As you may recall from our previous announcement in February, we embarked on a journey to enhance the realism of these collectibles and provide with you an even more immersive and enjoyable experience. We took your feedback seriously and made substantial optimizations to the head, sculpt, and body armor, including the cape and the helmet. We're delighted to hear that these updates have been met your approval, and we truly appreciate your positive response. Rest assured, Batman is currently in production and on schedule. We are committed to increasing our efficiency without compromising on the quality and quantity of production. Our aim is to deliver these remarkable collectibles to you by the end of this year. The production and development process has been a challenging one, but our dedication to bringing you the most satisfying The Batman and Bruce Wayne 1/6 scale collectible figure has been unwavering. We've meticulously studied stills, compared various fabric options and costumes, and even scrutinized the stitching on of the garments, all to ensure we capture every detail faithfully. Your feedback is invaluable to us, and we want to thank each and every one of you for your support of InArt. Together, we're shaping collectible figures that exceed your expectations. So that's pretty much what, I read it verbatim. So now I want to check out these photos. So, I mean, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. I mean, we kind of know at this point that they're offering Batman and they're offering Bruce Wayne and then Bruce Wayne you can get in a sculpted and a rooted. Not much of it's available. I mean, there's some sites that have it available, but 1/6 kit places like that don't have them. Doesn't mean that they're necessarily sold out everywhere. You just got to do some hunting to find them. But like I said, this is the Robert Pattinson Bruce Wayne. I mean, I've got to say, it looks phenomenal. I mean, the rooted hair, it looks really, it just captures the essence of the character. I can't really say a negative thing about it. Obviously, these are just more portrait style photos, but I'm commenting on what I see, and it just looks brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I do think that these are better than the previous versions that we saw. Went back and did some retooling on these, but this sculpt is just, I mean, it's unbelievable. And I mean, to be frank, I didn't really have anything negative to ever say about, I mean, the Gandalf just came out. That looks phenomenal. The Joker, it looked phenomenal. I mean, the sculpts just look like they're on point one after another. And this is just another one added to, that collection. I do think it was important for them to nail this one just because, I'm kind of up in the air about a dedicated Bruce Wayne. I mean, you can buy it separately. I mean, it really is kind of meant to be, a pack, not meant to be a 2-pack, but in my mind, I see it as a 2-pack. Getting a Bruce Wayne by itself standalone is just, to each their own. But for me, that's not my deal. I would rather have it with a Batman or the Batman by himself. But the Bruce Wayne, I feel like, is more of a companion piece. And honestly, I'd say that if that was Michael Keaton or if that was anybody else, I'd say the same thing. So there's no hate on it whatsoever. Um, but like I said, looking out here, they look great. And this is looks to be the sculpted. I did have a little bit of flack about the sculpted going back and forth. In my opinion, I don't think that InArt has really. I'm just kind of flash back and forth. By the way, if anyone's watching, it's hard to say whether or not they've nailed sculpted right now. I know a lot of critiques about the Joker I've seen where people preferred the rooted over the sculpted. The sculpted just didn't look that. I mean, it looked good in hand, but it didn't look on another level as the rooted hair, I would say. Like between these two, I would go the rooted. I do have a couple of rooted figures already, so I'm definitely was never opposed to rooted. It just for me had to make sense, and it had to make sense for the character. And for this Bruce Wayne, he was more of an emo style with his hair hanging down in front of his face. I think that looking at these side by side like this, I do think that the rooted captures the essence of the character more than the sculpted, personally. So if I was going either way, I would probably go rooted. I mean, if we're not talking money here, I would say the rooted is the better way to go. Um, Here, it just looks like I said, this looks like a still out of a movie. The way that his hair is kind of more disheveled. I loved this incarnation of the character where they did not forego the eye makeup, which was kind of like a taboo thing with Keaton and Val Kilmer and Clooney, where they had the eye makeup on, but when they took the mask off, it's like the eye makeup disappeared. I really liked the essence of this version where they embodied that into the character, where it was part of it, and when he took the cowl off, it was still there. I mean, it was ultra realistic to me in terms of how they handled that. And I think that essence is really captured here. Like this looks like a production still for me. This looks like a still from the movie. I mean, I'm not going to get into the intricacies necessarily of the suit because I'm going to be saving that for probably if you guys are familiar with this series, and I'll put a link to one of my other videos above, fair to compare, where we take we take a figure or a product that's being made by more than one company, and we basically just decide whether or not it's fair to compare them and see what the differences are. We did that thus far with the InArt Superman to the Justice League and BBS Superman from Hot Toys. We actually have a video debuting on the channel. Which will be, and I'll tag it at the end of this video, which is also the Jazz Inc. 89 Batmobile, because those are identical companies making the same product. And we're going to do one about this because these are releasing around the same time, the Hot Toys and the InArt. So I think it's fair to compare them. Which one do we think is the ultimate version? That's another video for another time. I want to wait for Hot Toys to put out the final production photos. If these are the final from InArt, I want to compare them to the final from Hot Toys, so that way you have a little bit more of a fair comparison, because like I said, things can always change. But especially here, the sculpted, I just think the rooted is just so much better. I just don't think that InArt has real. I mean, it looks good, but when you compare it to the rooted, the rooted just elevates it so much more. I jokingly always said that's kind of like a sales strategy to like get you to buy the rooted, But it just, I think the sculpted looks good. Even Hot Toys doesn't always do sculpted hair the right way, so I'm just trying to be kind of balanced to both. But I mean, like I said, if I had to choose, I would go the rooted. It just gives it another element, another realism. It looks like he just took the mask off, so the hair is disheveled in that way. But no complaints about the sculpt. I love it with the eye makeup. It looks great. Same thing here, like I said. But if I had to compare the two, I definitely think that the rooted captures the essence of the character better. But from a financial point of view, I do understand offering the sculpted because, like I said, not everyone's ready for rooted. The maintenance, the upkeep, the price, I totally understand it. But nevertheless, I mean, I don't. Even though I like the rooted better, it's hard to I don't think there's a win-win for collectors here, either whichever way you go. I'm very happy with what I see. And then finally, the only image we have here, I'll zoom in on it so you guys can take a look, is the actual bat suit. As I said, I'm not going to get into the intricacies of like the details of all the, because to be honest with you, I have to like kind of restudy the suit myself. It's got a lot of working pieces. Obviously, looking at it from a glance, it looks accurate to what it is. I know that there was refinements made to to the cowl, to the cape. There were certain elements that there was definitely some community feedback on that, and art looks like they took that approach and made those changes. But like I said, this looks like an actual production still from the movie. This looks really awesome. Now, I will admit, I don't have either one. I don't have the Hot Toys one on order. I don't have the Batman from there on order. I have reached out to one or two suppliers that I have been buying figures from, and I have asked about the curiosity of like, hey, do you guys have these in stock? Like, do you guys have these on order? So it is very possible that I might take a stab since I'm not committed to either one of them. I very well may look to see what's going on, and then I might pull a trigger on one of these. I will admit I'm leaving the door open to possibly the InArt version, 100%. Like seeing what I see here is really selling me on it. It's not in stone. Don't hold me to it, but I definitely like the idea of this version. Um, a lot actually. So I want to see what Hot Toys delivers in terms of their final product. And that's the reason why I want to do the fair and compare because I know that there's differences between the Hot Toys. I mean, they're doing bat signals, some of the accessories, things like that. So I want to kind of like do a more in-depth comparison on both of them and see what they come with, the price point, and then leave it up to you guys whether it's fair to compare them. But like I said, that's gonna be for another video. This is just my pure reaction on this figure, and it's a home run. It really is a home run. To be frank, it was a home run from the beginning. They only improved on it. I still think it's just it's what it is. You know, I'm not going through the fine details of oh, the shoulder pad is that, the intricacies. I know there's other people that can really rip this thing apart and dissect what's accurate. I'm just giving you my initial thoughts about it and kind of where my head's at when it comes to InArt. Now, I made it very clear, and it's going to be on this recording. If they release the purchase order for the Henry Cavill Superman, it's a day one pre-order, and you can hold me to it. That's why it's on. I'm on tape right now. You could clip this and keep it. That if they do Henry Cavill Superman for PO, day one pre-order, and that will be that is guaranteed to be my first InArt figure. However, this one's drawn my attention a lot more. If I had pre-ordered the Hot Toys one, I wouldn't be bothered because I don't need two of the same character. The fact that I didn't get the Hot Toys one, it's still leaving the door open to decide which way I want to go. So really it's dependent on, like I said, I reached out to one major person who I buy figures from quite often, and they do have a couple on reserve, like ordered. So it's better. I'm gonna wait for when it's actually released to see what's going on and what's available, and I'll make a decision then if I decide to go Hot Toys or InArt for this one. So we're gonna wait and see on that, definitely. But once again, guys, I really do appreciate your time watching this video. Please consider dropping a like. If this is your first time watching, please consider subscribing to the channel for this and future content. Once again, just to recap my thoughts on the InArt Bruce Wayne combos here, I think they're a home run. I like what I see. I can't give any, like I said, I prefer the rooted over the sculpted. I think that there's just another element to the rooted that just elevates the figure. And like I said, I'd like to see what this looks like in hand because, like I said, with the Joker, some of the feedback I saw on the sculpted was, it was good, but it wasn't exactly the high, it wasn't out of the water. The rooted seemed to be the one that was really elevated to, next level. But once again, that's just what I heard. And so kind of what I saw in general about the sculpted. But this one looks to be a home run. It looks like another one, another banger, so to speak. But yeah, nothing bad to say about it. And I think did a great job. Now they just got to, let's see what the final, product looks like in hand. But if these are the final photos that people are to expect, I don't think they're going to have anybody disappointed. I think this one's going to be a home run, like I said. So once again, guys, this is Mr. Mom Collectibles saying thank you so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.